welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're diving right into something that literally changed the game for computational biology and chemistry. We're looking at visual molecular dynamics, or VMD. Now, you already know it's a vital tool for modeling massive macromolecular systems, but today we're going under the hood. We're exploring the incredible computational leaps that happen when you supercharge VMD with highly optimized GPU architecture. Get ready, because we're going to see how specific CUDA algorithm designs are basically rewriting the rules of processing time. Okay, let's dive right into this. 120 times. We're not talking about a cute 20% bump in efficiency here or, just doubling your speed. We're talking about reducing tasks that used to take days down to minutes, or tasks that took hours down to literally seconds. It's a massive speed multiplier that completely shifts what researchers can actually do in real time. But here's the thing, this kind of extreme acceleration, it doesn't just happen because you slapped a shiny new graphics card into your rig. It actually requires a profound rethinking of how algorithms process data. To really grasp the scale of this, let's compare some specific VMD tasks against a single standard CPU core. Look at tasks like gas migration or ion placement. They see a really solid 20 to 44 times speed up. That's a great foundation. Electrostatic fields, up to 44 times faster. Radial distribution functions fly by at 90+ times the speed. But check out that bottom row. The calculation of molecular orbitals hits a staggering 100 to 120 times speed up. It's wild, right? So how exactly does a single piece of hardware pull off this kind of wildly varied but universally massive acceleration? Well, here's our roadmap for today. First, the need for extreme speed. Second, the massively parallel coprocessor. Third, Principle 1, amplifying memory bandwidth. Fourth, Principle 2, the CPU-GPU partnership. And finally, a case study on molecular orbitals. Section 1, the need for extreme speed and why CPU limitations bottleneck molecular modeling. So when we model macromolecules, we're obviously not just looking at a handful of atoms. We're simulating incredibly complex proteins and cellular structures with thousands, sometimes millions of interacting data points. And traditional CPUs, even the absolute top-tier ones, they eventually hit a computational wall. The bottleneck isn't really about raw clock speed. It's actually about the sequential nature of standard processors. A CPU is fundamentally built to execute a few complex tasks incredibly fast, but one right after the other. Macromolecular modeling, though, it requires analyzing a sheer volume of simultaneous interactions. You don't just need a faster worker, you literally need a total hardware shift. Section 2, the massively parallel coprocessor, the engine behind the acceleration. And the hardware doing all the heavy lifting under the hood is the graphics processing unit, or GPU. Originally, these were just meant to push pixels to your monitor for gaming, right? But computer scientists realized this unique physical architecture was absolutely perfect for crushing scientific data bottlenecks. This is especially true when you unlock it with parallel computing platforms like NVIDIA's CUDA. CUDA is basically the software layer that lets developers write programs to run directly on the GPU's highly parallel architecture. We call this a massively parallel coprocessor. Basically, it's a specialized hardware unit designed to handle thousands of independent operations at the exact same time, running right alongside your main CPU. Think of it like this. Your CPU is like a small group of brilliant, highly paid executives. They can solve any winding, complex, logical problem you throw at them, but they can only handle a few things at once. The GPU, it's like an army of thousands of specialized workers. Individually, they might not handle that deep, winding logic as well as the executives, but give them a massive, repetitive math task to execute in parallel, and they'll demolish it in a fraction of the time. But to get that army working efficiently, you need scale. In fact, you need around 20,000 independent threads just for full GPU utilization. If you only throw a few hundred data points at a modern GPU, the hardware is just sitting there, barely breaking a sweat. It's like renting out a massive, fully equipped factory for like 5 workers. But when you structure your data to feed 20,000 independent threads simultaneously, boom, the GPU becomes fully utilized and you instantly jump to roughly 40 times faster than the CPU. The real trick, though, is figuring out how to feed that hungry army without starving them of data. Section 3, Principle 1, amplifying memory bandwidth, or feeding the beast efficiently. Now, what's really interesting about this is how it tackles those data bottlenecks. You know how sometimes a super fast processor still chugs on simple tasks? That's usually the data bottleneck. If the GPU computes data faster than your system can deliver it, you totally lose your speed up. So to maximize memory utilization, VMD's algorithms are carefully designed to keep data geographically close to the processing cores. They rely heavily on highly localized, fast memory, like registers and L1 cache, so the threads aren't constantly reaching across the system. And before the data even hits the GPU, it's pre-processed, sorted, and compressed. Crucially, they use tiled or blocked data structures in global memory. This basically ensures the massive pipe of data flowing in is completely full, perfectly organized, and never, ever stalling out.
Section 4. Principle 2. The CPU-GPU partnership, orchestrating the perfect tag team.
We can really see this division of labor clearly when we put the two processors side by side. The algorithm designers deliberately push all the messy, logical work over to the CPU. The CPU regularizes the workload, handles the weird exceptions, manages unusual data, and pre-computes all the complex array indexing arithmetic. By stripping all that away, the GPU is free to do exactly what it does best, grinding through pure, massive floating-point arithmetic and utilizing those wide memory broadcasts. You absolutely don't want to do any complex logical indexing inside the GPU threads. You let the executives do the planning, and you let the army do the lifting. So the crucial point here is that this partnership completely relies on asynchronous operation. This enables the overlapping of computation and input/output operations on both ends. While the GPU is crunching through one massive block of math, the CPU is simultaneously preparing the next batch of data, sending it over, and downloading the finished results. It's perfectly concurrent. Neither processor is ever just sitting around waiting for the other. Section 5. Case study on molecular orbitals, bringing all these principles to life. Let's look at the actual MO calculations and see how this builds a perfectly parallel workflow. Calculating a molecular orbital is an incredibly massive 3D problem, so the algorithm meticulously breaks it down. First, it slices that massive 3D molecular orbital lattice into flat 2D slices, which are organized into CUDA grids. Think of a CUDA grid as giving each block of our worker army its own specific blueprint. Next, it breaks those slices down into small 8x8 thread blocks, which takes advantage of that fast, on-chip register memory we just talked about. Finally, it assigns exactly one thread to compute exactly one point on the lattice. And this whole shebang can even be computed concurrently across multiple GPUs, stacking that speed up even higher. And wow, here is the ultimate payoff. By slicing up the 3D space, heavily optimizing that memory bandwidth, and letting the CPU handle the messy indexing, the GPU can churn out these incredibly complex, beautiful molecular orbital renders 120 times faster. What used to be a long, cumbersome wait for researchers suddenly becomes an interactive, rapid-fire visualization. The sheer structural clarity you get here is the direct, breathtaking result of totally flawless hardware and software orchestration. We've seen how VMD takes standard hardware and, through really disciplined CUDA algorithm design, unlocks a 120x performance leap. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a single GPU can compute that much faster just by rethinking the flow of information, what massive breakthroughs are currently hiding in your unoptimized data, just waiting for the right architecture to bring them to light? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.